Knitting techniques. How to knit Emily Ocker's cast on. To download a guide with our 5 favorite tips to improve your knitting right now, visit newstitchaday.com/5knittips. For this tutorial, you'll need the following materials: a crochet hook, and a ball of yarn. Special thanks to our sponsor Lion Brand for providing today's yarn. Today we are using their Lion's Pride Woolspun, available exclusively at Michael's Craft Stores and lionbrand.com. In the color, Taupe. Emily Ocker's cast on is a method of beginning your work in the round, and it's often used to start projects like a top-down hat or even a toe-up sock, and it's great for making amigurumi toys. It's something where you can cast on your stitches and then start knitting out from the center. You'll also see this used for some shawl patterns. You'll start from the center and work out. And it's a really nifty way of starting all of your stitches, and it has sort of a cool little trick to it that I'll show you at the end. I don't want to spoil the surprise. Now, it gets its name, Emily Ocker's cast on, from Elizabeth Zimmerman. She actually named the cast on after her friend Emily Ocker, who she says she learned it from. You'll also sometimes hear this referred to as a pinhole cast on. So let me show you how we do this. So the interesting thing about Emily Ocker's cast on is it's actually made using a crochet hook, not a knitting needle. I'm going to set this to the side for just a second, and we're going to get started by taking the tail of our yarn, and we're going to, for step 1, we're just going to lay this yarn over a couple fingers with the tail facing down, okay? And we're going to bring this around our fingers towards us and then back over the top, okay? Now for step 2, we're going to grab our crochet hook and we're going to come underneath both strands of this loop here. All right, and once we do that, we're going to actually yarn over our hook. If you're familiar with crochet, we're just going to basically grab the yarn and pull it through this big loop. Okay, and I'm going to pull this pretty tight. We don't have to be super tight, but the tighter we do this, the nicer the stitches are going to look when we slip them over to our knitting needles. And also, I found that if you don't tighten these down enough, it'll be really hard doing that first row because the knitting needles won't be very secure. Alright, now I'm going to yarn over the hook and we're going to draw that through the loop that's on our hook. Okay? And that's going to be one stitch. Okay, again, we're going to just pull that a little bit tighter. Okay? And now we're just going to repeat starting from step 2. Okay, we're going to insert our hook into that loop. We're going to yarn over and draw the loop through. Remember, keeping this a little bit tighter. Then we'll yarn over and draw the loop through the first loop that's on our hook. Okay, I'll do that for you again. We'll insert our hook into the loop. We're going to yarn over and draw the loop through the big loop. We're going to draw the yarn through that big loop. Then we'll yarn over and we're just going to draw that yarn through the loop that's on our hook. Okay. And I'm trying to keep that nice and tight, which is why it's a little bit hard to get those stitches through. So you're going to continue doing this, starting with the hook in the loop, yarning over, drawing through, yarn over and draw through the loop until you've created all the stitches that you need for the beginning of your pattern. So right now I've got 4, And depending on what I was doing, I would continue doing like 6, 8, maybe even 10 or 12 based on the pattern. So once we get all of these loops or stitches on our crochet hook, we're just going to transfer them over to some double pointed needles, or even a circular needle if you're planning on doing a magic loop method for knitting in the round. And so let me show you what we do after we've got a few rounds knit with our double pointed needles. Now once you've divided up the stitches and put them onto your double pointed needles, I've actually knit a few rows all the way around, increasing every other row. And you'll see that we've got this tail in the center of the ring. So what we do when we reach half an inch or so, here I've got about an inch, inch and a half, is we grab that tail and then we're going to pull on it, and this is going to actually close up the loop, and we can pull it nice and tight, and now we've got a whole piece of fabric that's got a nice tight closure, and then we can just sew that in to finish up our work. So that's sort of that cool little benefit of doing this circle cast on that's from the center. And that's how we do Emily Ocker's cast on.
Hey, I'm Johnny Vasquez, founder of New Stitch A Day and your teacher for this tutorial. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to learn from us. If you'd like to see more videos just like this, we produce new content every single day. Hence, New Stitch A Day. You can click the subscribe button so that you don't miss a single stitch. And if you click one of the links to the side here, you can see the previous stitch in our series or the next stitch in our series. And if you click this link, you'll be able to see one of my favorites. And don't forget, you can also download a PDF with the written instructions for this tutorial by clicking or using the URL link that's on the screen. Again, I want to thank you so much for learning with us, and I hope that we've helped make your knitting and crochet skills a little bit better today. Yarn on!